Hello my friends and welcome to the channel. I'm Brian and this channel is all about making some retro vehicles into some really fun, sweet rides and a lot of lessons learned along the way. In this episode, we're going to tackle prepping two Mustangs for paint. And it's been a long journey for these two in the bodywork area. And I wanted to give you guys the exterior plan. They're pretty much going to remain stock. But there's going to try to do some subtle mods to them all along the way, but the main majority of it is going to be pretty much stock for these two 68 Mustangs. So what I ended up doing is I first started off with some Epoxy Primer, which laid a foundation for the rest of the bodywork to happen. It really bites into the paint. And then we started with some high build primer and the block sanding began. And it's been block sanding for a few months now, and I'm excited about the progress here because we're getting really close to paint. I wanted to give you guys some tips and some things that I've learned about block sanding, as well as hopefully get into some of the suspension mods that we're going to get into on this 68 Fastback. I'm really excited about those. I'm hoping to use a lot of SN95 parts for it. So if you're interested in that and in modernizing your suspension for your 68 Mustang or your classic Mustang for that matter, then please stay tuned and keep watching. Let's go. Well friends, while the bodywork on these two has been a long haul, I can't say that it has not been a blast straightening these lines. It's from panel gaps to upgrading the hinges. And by the way, if you haven't seen the video we did on upgrading the hinges, please click on that link. So if you're planning on doing some of the bodywork yourself on the classic Mustang, here's a few tips of block sanding that I've found. By any means, this is not an exhaustive list, but this is a few tips that I've discovered along the way, and I wanted to give you guys those. So here we go. Find a long sanding block. I'll provide a link in the description of the one you can get off of Amazon. It's really similar to this one. It has little rods that go inside and make your block stiffer or more flexible as you need it. This thing will save you lots of time, and it's a great size and really covers some real estate well. Next is the X pattern. I always have to try to remind myself the X pattern as I'm sanding. Use a crisscross pattern. This levels the surface evenly and protects against possibly digging too far into any given area. If you remember the X pattern, you are likely to stop when you need to. Next one is knowing when to stop. This one was some hard lessons learned for me, and it seems to be one of the biggest things you need to remember is not sanding through too far. And if it happens, it's not a problem. You just reapply more primer and you just start over in a little better situation, but it's best not to go too far and know when to stop. It's also best to know when to stop applying primer too, because sometimes you can get it on too thick as well. Ask me how I know. You don't want to go too far, and you don't want to leave too much on the table either. You're looking for that perfect balance. Use a guide coat at each layer of your primer. And what I like to do is actually use different colors of primer. That helps me know where I am and how far I've gone, and when I'm really getting close to bare metal. So first coat of epoxy primer, that's the one I'll try to stop at. I try not to run through that. So there you have it. Find a long sanding block, remember the X pattern, learn when to stop, and use a guide coat. Although that's not an exhaustive list of how to block sand, those tips have been very helpful for me. One of the things I need, guys, and to figure out is a paint booth. Now, I've done the whole paint it in your garage and actually come out pretty well, but I don't know exactly, I don't want to do that again. It was a lot of work setting up the garage and covering up everything and making a mess of everything too. And I'm trying to eliminate that. So guys, tell me what your thoughts are. I'm thinking about this inflatable paint booth, and please let me know in the comments what your opinion is about the whole inflatable paint booth, because I'm seriously considering it, because it would be a great way to paint these two Mustangs in and out and not have to mess up the whole entire shop. I'm trying to make some more efficient ways of getting things done faster, so please drop a comment and tell me what you think. I wanted to stop here, guys, and talk to you about modernizing your suspension on your classic Mustang. I've got a plan for the 60A Fastback that's going to use a lot of SN95 parts, and I plan to video the entire process and show you all the parts used and maybe present it as a viable option for all you guys. It does involve modifying the shock towers, so I'm a little hesitant on all of it. If I modify the shock towers and it doesn't work that well, yeah, it could be bad, but also there's a lot of kits out there that completely remove the shock tower, and so that may be the option I go with in the end anyway. I want to explore this option out with you guys, and let's see if we can come up with a viable option using modern Mustang suspension. I don't know. Drop a comment on what you guys think about that whole scenario. There's such a broad scope of products you can use in an SN95 platform, and I want to be able to use those kind of parts. I've got lots of parts coming in, and I'm just waiting on one set of spindles, and then here we go, guys. So stay tuned, please keep watching, and we'll see you on the next time.